The history of law enforcement tactical medicine is really a history about the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department Special Enforcement Bureau. The LASD-SEB and its predecessors have been and continue to be the pioneers and leaders of this capability. In 1958, the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department Special Enforcement Detail, or LASD-SED, was created to respond to civil disorder situations. This unit was one of, if not the first in the country, to consider using specialized policing tactics for these evolving unique situations. There is a discrepancy as to who was the first to use the term SWAT, whether it was Philadelphia or Los Angeles Police Department, the famous LAPD. In 1964, the Philadelphia Police Department organized a 100-man specialized team in response to an increased number of bank robberies in the city, and it is claimed to have used the term SWAT for this unit. After the Watts riots in 1965, LAPD began looking into novel ways to react to these unique circumstances. In 1967, LAPD Inspector Daryl Gates, who led the operations in Watts, supported the development of specialized response teams and notes his first choice of term was Special Weapons Attack Team, but was transitioned into the more diplomatic Special Weapons and Tactics Team, or SWAT team. They would use a converted milk delivery van and weapons confiscated from criminals to increase their firepower. The team would be made up primarily of Korean and Vietnam War veterans and would become the famous D platoon of the LAPD. In 1965, the LA County Sheriff's Department created the Special Enforcement Bureau, or SEB, which the existing Special Enforcement Detail, or SED, would then fall under the command of. In California, the sheriff's departments are responsible for search and rescue operations in their counties. A year later, in 1966, the Emergency Services Detail, or ESD, was created by Sergeant Frank Waldron to support these search and rescue operations in Los Angeles County. ESD would also fall under the command of the SEB. Though it wasn't the arrangement at the time, this would set the stage for the first law enforcement tactical paramedics in the world. In 1968, LASD-SED would reorganize itself into a similar SWAT formation and role. Again, the goal was to have a specialized team that would respond to barricaded suspects, hostage situations, high-risk warrants, and other unique circumstances. In August of 1970, the first paramedic course in the United States began at the Daniel Freeman Memorial Hospital in Inglewood, Los Angeles County, under the direction of cardiologist Dr. Walter Graff. It would be the first accredited paramedic program in the United States. In 1999, this program would merge with the University of California, Los Angeles Center for Pre-Hospital Care. In 1971, a year after the first national paramedic course, LASD-ESD would begin putting deputies in their paramedic program to support their search and rescue responsibilities. Shortly thereafter, these deputies would be added as standby medics to all SWAT operations by their Special Enforcement Detail. They would be the first in the country credited with doing so. Later, the LASD-ESD medics would go through SWAT school so they could accompany the SED team into the warm operations zone. LAPD would set the trend in the U.S., likely due to their proximity to the media and entertainment in Hollywood. The TV show SWAT ran for 2 years in 1975 and 1976, depicting LAPD SWAT officers in subdued uniforms with ball caps, M16 rifles, and a milk van painted black. Many other police departments across the country would establish similar teams. In November 1979, Miami-Dade police and fire departments would be the next agencies in the United States to add close medical support to their SWAT team. However, they took a novel approach. Rather than training police to be paramedics, they trained firefighter paramedics how to operate as a component of the SWAT team. This arrangement is typically now called TEMS, or Tactical Emergency Medical Support. The first TEMS course was run in 1989 in Los Angeles and was co-hosted by the National Tactical Officers Association, or NTOA, and LASD-SEB. The following year, the second annual course was run in Tucson, Arizona, sponsored by the Pima County Sheriff's Department and the NTOA. The NTOA published position papers on TOMS operations in 1994 and were updated in 2007. Today, LASD SEB runs a California Post-Certified 40-hour tactical medicine course several times each year, which is mandatory for any EMT paramedic working on SWAT operations in the state. As of 2011, all LASD ESD medics must go through SWAT selection, training, and serve as a SWAT officer for a minimum of 1 year before being eligible to apply for ESD. Upon application, they must pass another selection to be eligible to specialize as a SWAT rescue medic. This is a significant change from the past and different than common practice in other jurisdictions. It is recognition from an agency that has been doing this longer than any others and pioneering most evolutionary steps, that a strong tactical background is paramount when working as a medic in high-risk incidents in the hot and warm zones. After the advent and implementation of Tactical Combat Casualty Care, or TCCC, in the military and its proven success in Afghanistan and Iraq, many SWAT medical support teams were beginning to adopt the TCCC concepts. In May of 2011, the Committee on Tactical Emergency Casualty Care, or CTEC, held its inaugural meeting to create the TECC guidelines. The TECC guidelines are a set of best practice recommendations for casualty management during high-threat domestic tactical and rescue operations. Based upon the principles of TCCC, TECC guidelines account for differences in the domestic environment, resource allocation, patient population, and scope of practice. Today, all major jurisdictions in the United States have SWAT teams, and the majority will have either organic law enforcement, EMS, or fire tactical medical support. Beyond just SWAT team support, most departments are recognizing the benefits and success of tactical medicine in officer safety. As such, the training and support equipment is more and more being provided for all officers, not just SWAT. Departments that have been carrying medical equipment on each officer, such as tourniquets, have realized the benefit of improvements in officer safety. Trends are demonstrating that the officers are frequently using their personal medical equipment on the public and are now evolving to the realization that they need both a dedicated kit for themselves and equipment to use on the general public and suspects. This mirrors a military medic's approach, where they need to keep a personal medical kit in reserve should they become a casualty themselves. There are many agencies, individuals, and incidents that were responsible for the evolution of tactical medicine and law enforcement that we're not able to mention here, simply for the sake of time, though it is evident through research that Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department has and continues to play the leading role. The concepts of TCCC and TECC have made a profound difference in the way medical care is provided in tactical environments. Many lessons learned from the military have been adopted and modified appropriately to implement and make significant differences in officer safety. Tactical medicine is a living and evolving subject, and it is important to understand that you, as a student, are an integral part of the evolution of tactical medicine. Your feedback and contribution to this topic is critical in its continued improvement and propagation. This concludes the history of tactical medicine and law enforcement video. Thank you for watching.